Good evening. My name is Brian W. Smith. I'm the award-winning best-selling author of more than 40 novels. But today, I'm not in writer mode. I'm putting on my interviewer cap, and I'm going to interview some of the industry's biggest names, people whom I've had the privilege, the honor of getting to know during my 20-year writing career. I created the Readers Want to Know podcast so that you, the reader, can get a glimpse into the personality of your favorite author. I want you to see a side of them that readers normally don't get to see. So I want you to sit back and enjoy the interview. That's what I want you to do. But first, I need you to do something for me. I need you to take a moment, click the like button. I need you to click the subscribe button. I need you to do it now, right now. I'll give you a couple seconds. You did it? Good. Let's start the interview. Hello, hello, hello. This is your boy, Brian W. Smith, and I'm back with another episode of Readers Want to Know. And tonight, I have the phenomenal writer, a legend in this game. Brother been out for more than 20 years at this point, probably written over 50 novels. You name it. The guy's been on everything from BET, MTV. He's been in Time Magazine, King Magazine. This brother has more than 1 million books in print. So anybody who's been around this game knows, in an industry where the lifespan of most authors is about 3 novels, to make it to the point where you cross the 1 million books in print threshold, that is rarefied air. And it's a guy that I've been on for years, somebody that I've always respected, and someone who I love talking to, chopping it up with. Tonight on the Readers Want to Know podcast, we have none other than the trendsetter, the phenomenal writer, multi bookseller, multiple bestseller list maker, Mr. Kawan. Welcome to Readers Want to Know podcast, my brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me, man. You know, we go back like 2 flats.
Like 2 flats, man. The Chitlin circuit was real.
Yeah,
The Chitlin circuit was real. You know, I always tell that story. I always tell that Memphis story when Pretty Boy showed up. You know, yeah. I always tell that story. But yeah, I mean, those were, you know, it's interesting because I don't know if you noticed that there's been a shift, right? There's been a shift in that so many events, quite frankly, have fizzled out due to lack of funding, due to the shift in the way readers consume our products these days. Fact of the matter is, people just don't buy paperbacks as much as they used to. I was looking at my numbers the other day. It blows me away, man. I sell more ebooks than I do paperbacks these days.
You know what's crazy? Because for me, it's the opposite. I sell more paperbacks than I do ebooks.
Really, really. Then now you got the audio avenue, you know what I'm saying? Which kind of, we're going to talk about a lot, but this discussion is the perfect segue to something that I noticed the other day on social media, and I gotta ask you. I thought to myself, I'm gonna wait to ask this brother till I get him on the show. You posted, I'm about to jump off this hamster wheel because my legs are getting tired. So my question is, were you talking about that night, or were you talking about something more macro?
I'm talking about period. I'm talking about, like, this is my thing, bro. At this stage in my life, like, doing the same thing and expecting different results is insanity. So there's this, like, and it was like not just directed at publishing, the state of publishing, it's just life in general. Like, you know what? I gotta stop doing, because I'm running on this hamster wheel, man. I'm trying to do everything. I'm moving. I ain't got no time. I'm burnt.
Yeah, you do get burnt out. Which makes me want to ask you. I'm curious. You've been doing this for so long, and you've been so successful at it. It would be hard to find something that gave you the same type of high.
Nothing will.
Right. So if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? What would be your career?
If I wasn't doing books, I'd probably still be robbing or in prison. I mean, listen, everybody know, and I don't, and I make no shame about it. Like that was my thing. I've only been good at two things: white collar crimes and books. You understand what I'm saying? So like the book with the book thing, man, it's like it feeds my soul, it feeds my spirit. Like I didn't know I loved it until I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you ever tried to quit?
Yeah, you know how many times I retire, bro? I retire once a year.
Facts. I know the feeling.
Once a year, and then I get an idea.
And you get an idea like that, man. Do you find? I'll speak for myself. I just hit the 20-year mark.
Congratulations!
Thank you. A couple of months ago. My release dates are getting further and further apart. I still crank them out because I'm always writing multiple books at the same time. But I do find myself sometimes struggling to find a story that I will remain interested in long enough to finish writing. Do you find yourself in that?
Hell yeah! You know how many stories that I started and never finished, but that's the thing. Like I may feel passionate about something. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I have an obligation to a publisher for a book, and it's a book that I'm actively writing. But then I just get an idea about another book that I maybe want to do independently. So now I'm not interested in this other book anymore. Right. So it's like they're becoming, as you write more, two things happen. For one, it's harder for them to hold your attention unless you're really in love with it. And for two, being creative enough to come up with different storylines. I know that a lot of people like to regurgitate storylines. And whatever floats their boat, I ain't judging them, but that's not me. I always want to wow the readers with something new.
Something new. So how do you plow, push through when you hit that mental wall?
I go to something else.
Right.
Like if I'm on a deadline for something, and I'm just not feeling the story at the time, I'll pivot to something else.
Yeah, that's my elixir. It's why I write multiple books, and I do a lot of ghost writing. That kind of stuff, it keeps me it keeps me interested, to be honest with you. People don't believe this. You can get bored at this, man, after you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. You get bored and you get anxious because something that I suffer from is anxieties about I always say like this, people love my books, but in my mind, I'm a hack. And I don't deserve to be where I am. And one day they're going to discover that I'm a fraud, and that's going to be interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. So you, are you suggesting that you feel like you suffer from imposter syndrome sometimes?
Yeah. I feel like, and I know people love my stuff, but I feel like when I write a book and I turn it in, I always feel like that shit is garbage. They're never going to be able, even with Animal, I'm like, that shit is garbage. They're never going to be able to sell it. But this is just these internal conversations that I have with myself. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the things that keeps me grinding, because when I've seen this happen a lot, and I'm sure you've seen it too. When you're a hot writer, and then you get the people, especially in the age of social media, like king this and king that and king that, and you start believing it, is when the magic goes. Is when the magic is taken from you.
Yeah, so it's hard to grind when you're no longer hungry. Let me ask you this before it slips my mind, or something you said. So a few years back, I sent somebody I knew. They asked me for a book. They was reading my books in prison, and I just randomly asked, so what they reading back there, and your name came up. Although, the prison officials be going through your stuff. They be sending books back. You know what I'm saying? They stream. They looking for anything that will justify justify them kicking the book back, saying this is propaganda.
I'm banned in Texas and I think Arizona.
Have you been to a prison to discuss your book with inmates?
Yeah, I have.
Describe that. I've never done that.
I think one of the most impactful ones, right? And I did it a couple of times. Like, I always try to make myself available to these facilities, whether they have because they have these stipends or whatever. So whether they have the budget or not. So they fly me to Minnesota, of all places, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so I go into this prison, and you had to the way they had, you had to sign up beforehand to attend the little class that I was going to do. So people didn't think I was coming. So maybe about 10 inmates showed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we do our little 1-2, you know me, I'm in there, chop it up or whatever. So as we're leaving, these motherfuckers is on the tears going crazy. Like they throwing shit. And I'm looking around like, what's going on? So one of the homies told me, he's like, yo, nobody thought you was really going to come to this jail, so they didn't sign up and they missed the class.
Wow.
So it was a whole thing where they got like the COs and the dogs and all that, and like the young brothers is trying to. So, and again, I'm kind of like, because the COs were very aggressive, and I'm like, nah, man, you ain't got to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me holler at the brother. Bro's gonna shake my hand. I'm gonna shake his hand, like, but I'm not stupid at the same time. And it was just such a surreal thing that they loved me so much. And when I was leaving, one of the older guards, he was like, man, I've been working here 28 years. And I ain't never seen no shit like that. Who are you? I said, I'm my mother's son. I left. Mm-hmm. So, but I say all that to say, the experience, like to get to look them guys in the face and talk to them, I know they read, because it's like they put you on a pedestal and they make you almost godlike when they read your stuff. Mm-hmm. So to be in there and slapping hands and I'm popping shit and they talking slick and I'm talking slick and, you know, and even some of them kept in contact with me after I left, like, hey, I'm home from prison now. I started working. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So I think like these are like instances like that are the high points of my career.
Yeah,
because you know, you when you touch them souls, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they can serve as mental jumper cables, bro.
Yeah,
you know I'm saying mental jumper cables. For when your battery's running low, for lack of a better way of putting it. You know what I'm saying? You know, interestingly enough, we're talking about troubled men, which makes me want to pivot to your project Troubled Man.
I like that.
Talk to me about that project, because a little birdie told me a brother by the name of Questlove has some involvement.
Yes. So what happened was they gave Questlove an imprint under a major house. And they've done a couple of books, but they've never done any fiction. So I am the first fiction writer under this new imprint. And like I said, I've been trying to do business with this editor for maybe about 10, 15 years. It just never worked out. So now they have some situation, they're like, well, come on, you would be the very first fiction writer, thriller writer we publish. And it made me think of Triple Crown, because, you know, I was the first author of Triple Crown. And we see what that came to be before Shorty burnt it down. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, and it's like, for me, it's an opportunity for almost a clean slate. I'm saying it right? An opportunity for a clean slate, because they don't look at me like Kawan, the urban fiction writer. They're like, this motherfucker writes some badass thrillers. We gonna throw you in the fire and see what you, because, you know, I always preach like, I'm a writer. I'm not this type of writer, that type of writer. So their whole stance is, we're gonna throw your ass in the fire on this big platform and make you prove it. Mm-hmm. I think I did with the first, like I said, like I still ain't pulled these notes down from the first book. Mm-hmm. That first book. So to give it a quick overview, Troubled Man is based on this character, Toussaint Baptiste. Toussaint Baptiste was a Philadelphia police officer, but he threw a pimp out of a hotel window. Mm-hmm. And ended up going to prison. So when he comes home, he's just trying to live his life. You know, he lives above a Chinese restaurant and shit like that. He's cool with the family down there. And something happens, and I'm trying not to give it away. Something happens to where he is back on the street. Like he's not a cop anymore, but that instinct is still with him. Mm-hmm. So someone close to him gets arrested for something, and he's on the street. So it's like I know people love me for violent stuff, and the book has some, but it's more fun. It's like a black kung fu now.
Gotcha. Because
this motherfucking Troubled Man, so you got to think about it. This black Philadelphia police officer on the roof doing Chai Chi with this old Chinese man who owns the Chinese restaurant.
Right, gotcha.
You know,
I like that. I like the fact that you know, we've talked about this in the past, man. It's so easy for people to pigeonhole you for no reason other than the fact that you make a conscious decision that the setting is the hood. But you know, I told you before, the problem I've always had with that is that if your setting was the suburbs, they wouldn't call you suburban fiction.
Exactly.
So the industry has a way of wanting to pigeonhole folks. But I've always seen you as a suspense thriller writer whose settings have been in urban areas.
Well,
Um,
I
go ahead.
tell folks like this, bro. Ain't no difference between me and Jackie Collins. If you want to be technical about it, Jackie Collins is the godmother of urban fiction. You ever read them Santangelo books and all of that?
No,
All
no.
the Jackie Collins shits involve some hood shit, but
Mm-hmm.
the characters are white.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Facts. So, when does Trouble Man projected release?
Um, June 6th of 2026. Actually have two books coming out. I got House of the Rising Sun, which is coming out on June 2nd, and then I got Trouble Man, which will be out on June 6th.
You
So
know, it's funny you should bring that up because it's one of the questions that I wanted to ask. Um, I know my share of authors. Been around the block a time or two. I honestly do not know any author with as many um, deals as you, working with so many different publishers. How do you pull that off without pissing off the other publishers and getting people to greenlight it, or not try to block it?
I think
You got a damn good agent. Somebody's pulling it off for you.
no, that was it was in part to my agent, but in part also due to me. Um and I think because like I said, I don't ever want to take anything away from my agent. I give my agent ulcers because I do some wild shit. But me being able to do that was kind of something. It was a move that I pulled a few years ago, and nobody expected me kind of to have the wherewithal to know how to kind of finesse that. But then once I got it off, I'm like, all right, well, this is what it needs to be going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing is, and I work with some really, really, really great publishers, some really, really great editors, really, really great agents. So as long as I space them apart, out enough to where they don't cannibalize each other, nobody has a problem. Like
Right.
these two books coming out right now, back to back, it was just dumb luck of the draw.
Right.
Dumb luck of the draw, you know. But yeah, I just try to keep them spaced out. And like I said, like I need that freedom because let's say what I'm doing for the Questlove imprint, right? That's like black kung fu. That's one thing. What I'm doing for Akashic with the House of the Rising Sun, those are my suspense novels. Those are my hard-boiled novels.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you go over here to Tour Books, St. Martin's Press, what I'm doing for them, that's more like some gangster shit. And then you got what I'm doing independently. It's kind of whatever's on my heart at the time.
Are they any pseudonyms involved or everything's under Kawan?
Nah, I stopped writing. I wrote under a pseudonym for years, and I sold a lot of books as a white woman. I swear, bro. I swear for Lord, bro.
That's crazy.
When people found out that I was white, because the lady, I was
So people found out you was white.
Yeah, white. They thought I was a Jewish white woman.
Right.
Because I started out writing sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't never get on for it. Even when I was Kawan, I still had a hard time getting on for it. So when I finally did get this situation, they were like, man, ain't nobody going to never believe you as a sci-fi writer.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a whole nother persona, this white Jewish lady who lives in a brownstone in Harlem, and she practices Wicca and tends an herb garden. And I write these novels about demons, werewolves, witches in the Vatican.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So a little bit of, but I stopped doing that because I felt like, why should I have to?
Right.
Why can I not be more than just this?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck I gotta write? Excuse me, I know I come back. But I'm like, why do I have to write under another name? Like, why can't you just get all parts of me and know that I'm versatile?
Right. Well, you know, that's how that industry works. Let me ask you this question before I forget, because I know readers are going to know. Trouble Man.
Uh-huh.
Is that a standalone or is the beginning of a series?
It's the beginning of a series.
Gotcha.
It's like I said, and I'm so proud. Like I said, it was the first time, and I don't know if you can see it. All these,
I can see in pink and blue.
they're all over the wall. because there were just so many moving parts and so many intricacies. You know, I have this analogy. I have this thing that I say when you start a new series, right? That first book is like the first date, and you see like, you know, the second book, okay, y'all done went out a few times. Let me see what's going on with Shorty. By the third book, I either want to marry you or I don't want you around me.
Right.
So this was me getting to know Trouble Man and the characters in that.
But to piggyback off that analogy, or to keep it going, that would suggest that at a minimum you've thought of 3 books in the series.
A minimum, because that's initially what they asked for. Me, I take it 1 book at a time.
Gotcha.
Because this is the first time I use the outline. I generally just write.
You like me. I don't have the time or the bandwidth to be outlining the book, bro. I'm the kind of writer, bro. I'll sit down. I might look over at the wall and see a painting, and that's my character's last name, Painting.
Exactly.
Brian Painting. You know what I'm saying? I just don't use, at this point in my career, I just write, bro. The story, it's so vivid in my head. If I get the story, the entire story arc in my head, I don't need an outline. I just write, bro.
Yeah, but that's why I always tell people, it trip people out, because if you look at the back of a lot of my books, the synopsis doesn't match the story.
Right?
Because you know the synopsis
I thought I was
is
the only person.
they asked for.
Right, bro. I thought I was the only person. The people be like, I thought I was getting a different story. When I started,
like it was my intent to make it go that, but you know, and I just kind of got to just kind of go, and I needed this though, and I still think it fucked me because I feel no, that's not a politically correct term. I feel mentally challenged when I'm caged with an outline. But this I found that this helped me as an anchor. But I gotta write. I don't know what's gonna happen from one page to the next, because it's like I'm like the reader as I'm writing it. I want to see what's gonna go on.
Well, my thought process is, bro, first of all, creativity gonna do what the hell she wants.
Basically, yeah.
At least mine. Like, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I know a lot of people don't subscribe to this, but I write the endings first.
I only did that twice. I did that with Gutter, and I did it with I think The Passion of the Heist, and I wrote it in twice. Yeah.
My thought process is, the analogy I use is, when you get in your car and you turn on that GPS, it doesn't ask you where you're at. It already knows where you're at. It asks you where you're going.
Where you going? Yeah, right.
In the event you should get off course, it will reroute you and get you where you need to be. So I write the ending, and then I start writing the book, and I don't care where it goes. I know
as long as it arrives at that point.
At that point, right? So that's kind of where I am. I'm going to use this opportunity right now to pause. We've reached the stage in the interview where it's time for me to give the readers what they really want to know. So I'm about to pull up my nosy wheel, and I'm about to ask you some questions that's gonna get all up in your business, bro.
I'm here for it.
It's gonna get all up in your business, and hopefully, I hit you with some questions that actually make you think. Do you see my nosy wheel there?
Nah, I just all right, I see it now. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna spin this wheel 4 times, bro.
Okay.
And let's see where it lands, brother. Let's see what question it pops on.
Yeah, let's see. I'm curious myself.
Where have you never? Readers want to know, where have you never visited that you would love to go?
Africa.
Africa.
I want to touch the soil.
I feel you. What, in a particular part, or just the continent period?
Just the continent period. Maybe Ghana. I always just wanted to lay my hands in the soil and just touch it. You know what I mean?
Facts. I took my boys on a trip, my 2 sons, to Egypt a couple years ago.
I see. How was that, man? I know.
Oh my goodness, bro. It was, bro. First of all, you don't realize them boulders for
the pyramid,
the pyramids of Giza. And first of all, I'm 6 feet flat, bro. them boulders taller than me. We can't tell that from imagery on TV, but
Yeah.
it's amazing, man, to be next to that pyramid. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely. But as far as other parts of Africa, I would love to go to, man. Johannesburg, stuff like that.
Yeah, I just want to go, man. I just want to go out there. I want to make it an annual thing, like maybe every year, every other year. You know what I mean? The family goes to Africa. I feel like we should know. I don't know. It's just a weird thing about me. Like I said, I just feel like I want to put my hands in the soil to know what it feels like.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna spin this thing again. Let's see what readers want to know right now. Ain't that something? Land on the same thing. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got, bro. Readers want to know, what movie are you ashamed to admit you've never seen?
I'm a cinephile, so there's not too many movies that I haven't seen.
You've seen them all. Anything that you wanted to see?
That I wanted to see that I haven't seen yet.
You saw Sinners?
I've seen Sinners 3 times in the theater.
Fact.
You got to be a student of the game. The next game you plan to conquer, you got to be a student of.
Facts. Facts. Oh, okay. I caught that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So check this out. Readers want to know, what was your most embarrassing moment as an author?
I got so many. But I think one of them was I was receiving an award at the Hip Hop Cultural Center in Harlem, and I was outside smoking. And I done had a few. I'm 2 sheets to the wind. It's Harlem. It's my first big little thing. I'm outside smoking. So the publicist comes and grabs me like, they're calling your name for the award. I got a cigarette in my hand. And she pulls me inside, and I'm trying to tell her, and she pulls me on the stage. So now I'm like Ned DeWano standing on the stage with this cigarette in my hand. So I accept this award like Andrew Dice Clay smoking this cigarette. So, I was one of them.
I know that publicist ain't let you live that down.
Nah, they still bring that up. And my homeboy left with like a whole pan of food. Like he went out the side door with a pan of food. It was a lot.
Hey, readers want to know, you make a mean what?
I fry the shit out of some chicken. Damn, that just sounded crazy, like black dude frying. Yeah, but I'm the cook. Like I said, like I was fucking around in the kitchen before I came and jumped on the thing. So I do a little bit of everything in the kitchen, but chicken, yeah, I'm world renowned. I come from a family of chicken frying men.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Last question. Well, we already talked about that. Have you ever come close to return? What was the closest though? Like readers would be surprised to know this particular year, I really almost shut it down.
I think maybe 2003, 2004. I had just got so tired of being spanked by Triple Crown. It was just so much going on. And I said, yo, you know what? In order for me to be successful in writing, I'm gonna have to kill somebody. Because that was my mentality. I said, oh, they playing with me. Like they don't know, like I'm really, really on that. And the publishing games. So I think that was the closest. And yeah, because like my spirit was just so broken. Like I'm like, this ain't this. Oh, and no, I ain't gonna mention that nigga. But yeah, that time was like, because my spirit was so broken. I said, I'm doing everything right, and you just keep shitting on me. I just keep putting shit on.
Right.
So maybe this is not for me to do. Maybe I should go back to what I was doing.
Have you ever considered starting your own label?
I did it twice. I've published maybe 6 or 7 authors over the years.
Okay, all right. And apparently, obviously you stopped doing that. What was the thought process behind shutting it down?
Well,
you too busy with your own career?
Couple of things, right? Because me, I'm like this. Like, let's say if I sign an author, right? I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to walk you through the entire process. I'm going to show you, okay, from the time when you turn this book in to the editorial process to what we need to do to get it out there, I'm going to show you everything. And what you take from what I show you is up to you. So But one of the biggest, I ran into a couple of speed bumps with that, and one was sometimes the books required heavy rewrites. So I'm in the same field, but I got to spend time on this. And then you had other times where I feel like, for the most part, I've had a great crop of authors. But then sometimes authors were more interested in having my name on the front of their books than putting in the work. So I'm like, there's no reason that I got bags under my eyes and you sleeping good at night. This is your project.
Look, I ran Hollygrove. I had an imprint Hollygrove Publishing for about 5-6 years. I actually heard Jay-Z talk about this, and I thought it was so on point because, of course, on a much smaller level, I felt him when he said what I'm about to say. He was talking about the rapper Emil.
Yeah.
And when asked, what happened with that, why didn't it work out? His response was pretty simple. He said, I've already made it. I shouldn't be beating you to the studio.
That's true.
And I was like, that's how I felt a lot of times with some of the authors I had. I'm outworking you. You should be outworking me. I'm okay, but you should be hungrier than me.
Right, especially if I'm investing my money in you.
Right.
Yeah. But and that's the one thing, like, I've had more successes than failures. And when I say that, I mean authors that have come up under me that went on to do some incredible fucking things. Incredible. And then you got some that's just kind of like,
people seem to be more interested in the book release party than actually writing the book. You know what I'm saying? So we could talk for hours about that. But look, bro, I know you're a busy man. Like I said, you got about 17 book deals. So I know you're busy, bro. I want to, first of all, give you your flowers and tell you I admire you. I respect you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you taking time to come holler and chop it up with me. So I thank you very much.
Of course, man, bro. Like I said, man, you know how we do, man. It's more than just books. Men respect men. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Like, that shit ain't my nothing.
All right. Look, I appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the incomparable Kawan here tonight on the Readers Want to Know podcast. Why don't you tell the people real quickly where they can go pre-order Trouble Man or get ready to or buy any of your other books in your catalog?
They can pre-order Trouble Man on Amazon. You can go to Barnes and Noble. You can go to pretty much wherever books are sold.
Right.
Like, because it's coming out under one of the big boys.
Gotcha.
So, wherever books are sold, and definitely Trouble Man. Don't forget about House of the Rising Sun. And I think, and don't hold me to this, I think I'm gonna hit my readers or something before the year close out. So that way I'm gonna go ahead and feed that need real fast.
Outstanding, bro. And I understand the desire every now and then that want to hop off the hamster wheel. But I encourage you and I hope that you stick around a little bit longer, bro. The game needs you.
Oh hell no, that hamster wheel shit ain't had nothing to do with retiring.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be a pain in these motherfuckers' asses for many years to come. God willing, knock on wood. Like I always said, I have a great relationship with a lot of the newer authors. But I always tell them, like, I get out there, like Uncle get out there, nigga, and sprint with you. I love what y'all doing, but Uncle still get out there and sprint with you. And that's just what that is.
No doubt, baby. Look, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, that was Kawan. Please make sure you go and go to the Readers Want to Know podcast on YouTube. This video will be up there pretty soon. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Tell a friend. And until we meet again, stay safe and keep writing.
My brother. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Tune in next time when I give you a behind-the-scenes sort of glimpse into the personality of another one of your favorite authors. Until we meet again, I want you to be safe and keep reading.